It's the coach.
Yeah, head coach Dan Quinn.
Coach. I know.
We got the setup in here.
Look on his face. Look at
Thank you. We ain't messing around anymore.
Waiting for head coach Dan Quinn to come up with the set. Morning to you, Coach.
Morning, guys.
Dan Quinn will put the headsets on, and we'll talk with the head coach of the Atlanta Falcons as we continue our coverage here on this opening day.
Yeah, it's good to be here with you. It's time for ball, isn't it?
All right, here we go.
How excited are you, Coach?
Yeah.
I mean, first day of camp. What you excited to see today?
Boy, that's a lot. One, I'm excited to see us recapture the work ethic that began during the offseason. This group really became close. They became tight. The work, they established for one another, and that's what it's about, to make sure our mindset, like what we do here now, is based on your work. And the talent got you here. Now it's based on the work, how tight we can get, how good we can get. And I think you'll see that, and I hope that jumps off the field when you watch it today.
Coach, I know it's the first day of practice, and it's a lot going on. But what is the one thing that you would like to see out of that first practice from everybody out there on the field?
Really to see, what's the carryover from our assignments. We're going to throw a great practice today. And can we keep those mental errors, the busts that are down, to make sure, okay, not only did I put the work in last year, but, over the summer I stayed on point too, and making sure I got my book right in terms of my learning that goes along with playing on the field. So if we can function as a staff really well, function as a team really well, eliminate those errors, that'd be a good first step for us today.
Falcons head coach Dan Quinn joining us live here on our set at Flowery Branch on opening day, just a couple hours before the first practice of the year. How different do you expect training camp this year to be? How big a leap from what it was for you and the team last year?
The structure will be similar, for the players. They're going to know the format and exactly what we do. But what I can say is that the style and attitude that we go after it in practice will be different. I felt that in the spring, and we'll play faster, not only just, the speed that we've added to our team, but we'll also play faster knowing that we have a whole nother year in our system, so you can play faster even mentally, which allows you to play faster physically.
Speaking of that, Coach, I can't remember what the training camp was like, the first practice was like last year. Are you going to ease into it, or are you just going to jump right into it and put the pads on the day and just get after it?
We would like to, but we'll have to wait 2 days. So basically the first 2 days of camp, back not way different from your day, Hugh, is like they have it's kind of like the OTA rules for 2 days. And then the third day, then it's back on to get going. So
that's no fun.
Yeah, that's your game right there. So
he wants to go out and knock heads. What are you talking about?
Come back on Saturday, and that's your game. But yeah, what number training camp would this be for you?
Ooh, if I was playing coach, this would be about 20? Yeah,
we got some coaches in their 30s, and so it's just that time of year, and it's an exciting time. This happens all over the country. So can we throw a better training camp than everybody else?
How much sleep did you get last night, Coach?
Not much. You might as well get up early and get going, instead of just looking at the clock.
Well,
so
neither did I, Coach. I mean, I'm as excited as a fan as I've been in a long time. Falcons head coach Dan Quinn joining John and Hugh here on the morning show on Sports Radio 92.9 The Game. Opening day of Falcons training camp live from Flowery Branch.
Training camp, when you do have the fans come to practice,
it's
exciting
so much,
too.
Oh, yeah.
Because
it is. It really is.
It's different, and we love having a crowd here to connect with, and the guys like having it's a performance that they know the fans are here. And so it's our first opportunity to connect with what this 2006 team is going to be about.
Well, that's what I wanted to ask you here. As the fans come today and Friday and through the first weekend, through all of camp, if you were going to tell the fans, when you come, I want you to focus in on, because it's real simple to just kind of watch it broadly, but if I'm a fan sitting on that hill, what do I want to look at?
One, if I was watching on the defensive side, I wanted to examine this speed. Is this team attacking, like we say, if they're going to try to be the best attacking team in ball, is that coming to life? And by attacking, I'm talking about the way we close, the way we tackle, the way we go after it. Offensively, I'd like you to see, that ball is very, very rarely on the ground. That's talking about ball security. That's talking about completing passes. The quarterbacks, especially Matt, has worked extremely hard this offseason. And oftentimes when you're put in that spot where you got something to prove, you like the results from that. And that's certainly been Matt Ryan this offseason.
I can tell in your face, it looks like Matt's been chomping at the bit a little bit. Is he excited to get this season started as much as you are?
Yeah, we were sitting down at his locker yesterday and talking about it. And he said, about 3 or 4 days, his wife said, "Okay, it's time for you to go." Knowing that as a player and as a coach, summer's over and training camp is here and the season is getting underway. So now our team, how fast can we acclimate the rooks? They did it's a good rookie class. guys. They came in, they worked, and you can speak for this as a veteran. As a rook, what you don't want a guy who's going to talk. You want a guy who's going to show how much he can help the team. And this has been a good class so far. We're anxious to see what rooks of this group is going to help our team this year on the field.
All right, so talk about that. Yeah, just tell me about the rookies. What do we see? What have you seen so far, and what do you expect out of Neal and Campbell and Jones and Hooper?
Well, let's go right down the line. Right off the bat, those four had a terrific offseason. Hooper, we didn't get his chance to see as much. He went to Stanford, who was still in school, and he wasn't able to participate only into the minicamp. So we had a chance to see him there. What I can tell you is he did come back, and he did have it down. So it wasn't like he was just there and not studying and doing his stuff. So we're excited to see what he can do. He's an excellent matchup on the man-to-mans. We're anxious to see it. We're going to try and feature some of those guys in the matchups when we do the one-on-one. Let's make sure it's Neal Hooper. Let's make sure it's Campbell versus Jacob Tammy. Those are the matchups that you like to see to say, all right, what can you do? As far as let's go over to the defensive side. The linebackers have been a good group with Campbell and Jones as the inside guys. We've played Deion Jones at the Mike spot. We've played Campbell at the Will. Their versatility, the blitzing, the covering man-to-man, the speed they've played with, we've been pleased. Now it's time to take the next step. And at strong safety, Neal's been, what we've looked for. We had a good sense, what he put on tape is who he would be. He's a real mature guy for being a young guy. He's only 20, but, he carries himself much older than that.
So basically, Coach, if I'm hearing you correctly, today is basically a learning day where you're going to throw a lot at the guys and just to see who retained everything, like from the installs from last night, and just see who picks it up and can just go on the fly.
And this is the last few weeks of that, Hugh, to say, what else can you do? Mm-hmm. And can you be a swing tackle? Can you be a guard that can play guard and center? Can you be a slot receiver and a returner? Can you be a running back and a returner? So, what kind of versatility can you provide for the club? Saying, I can do more than one job, Dan. I got more we can offer for the team. And that's what we're looking for, too. For the guys that can handle more, we're going to give you more.
Been any injury issues here to start camp?
No, and that's one of the nice things about heading into this camp. We're strong, we're healthy, and we have no players limited heading into camp.
You know what, Coach? I see you put a heavy emphasis on the more you can do and being able to be versatile in the position that you play. Talk to me a little bit about how that helps you on the defensive side of the ball, because I've been talking about it, but I think that people want to hear you say with that versatility, how that helps the defense out.
I'll hit you on both angles. Let's start on one angle, too. We have a 53-man roster, but to get on the 45, you better have a real factor on special teams. And the plays that happen on teams, you better have some speed. A lot of these plays are going to be over 40 yards. It's kickoff return, it's punt return. So you better be ready to roll. So that'll be a real factor for that guy who's trying to make the 45 being on the active game day roster. As far as the versatility goes, we love Hugh putting guys in spots right now. So when an injury takes place or you have to play a new role, it's not like, boy, that's a new spot. It's going from left end over to right end, or playing outside backer to inside backer, or playing nickel and then moving back outside the corner. The more we give the guys now, then we're also developing depth within our team. Not only do we have a backup inside line, but we've got another guy who can also play. We've moved him in there before. We also have a guard who can kick out to play tackle. So having that versatility is huge. Specifically to the defense, really it's all about, which ways can we deploy, what's your strengths, and how can we feature them.
Falcons head coach Dan Quinn joining us live here as we look over the field and the hill here in Flowery Branch on the opening day of Falcons training camp on Sports Radio 92.9 The Game. I know that Hugh's chomping at the bit to ask you a question about defense. I have one on offense. But before we do that, a quick question about special teams since you brought it up. How much of a competition will there be at place kicker between the new kid, Nick Rose from Texas, and the veteran, Matt Bryant? And now that Devin Hester's gone, how do you handle the return game?
Sure, great questions. And we'll start off, who's going to handle, the field goals and PAT. Bosher will stay, with the kickoffs. He does a good job at that. Matt's the kicker, and the competition will be Nick Rose. And so Matt Bryant's the kicker, and Nick will come in. He's going to come in and compete and battle for it. As we're going, just like, on this team, you're going to have to earn your spot. And that goes all the way across the board. So we wanted to make sure that came through at place kicker as well. But we have all the faith and confidence in Matt. But we did, address this to say, hey, this is going to be a competition heading into this season. And then as far as return game, there's two spots there. And the punt return, the candidates there, we'd lead off with Weems. He's got plenty of experience doing that and did a fine job in Devin's absence last year. Justin Hardy's also another one that's going to have a factor in that. And then on the kickoff return side, Devin Coleman's one we want to take a real long look at. He's got the long speed. He did it his first couple of years in college before he was taking the bulk of the work, and it's another one of those roles. What else can you do to help the team? And that's one for Tev that he certainly wants to try and take over.
You know, Coach, I was looking at Grady Jarrett a little bit. Looked like he put on a little bit of size in the offseason. Do you see him as a guy who could turn into a real special player for you this year?
I hope so. As you know, like that first year, man, it's like there's a lot of learning that goes on. How do I play? And then now it's past learning the system and what do I need to do to beat this guy? Not every guard in the league plays exactly the same way. Not every offensive tackle that you played again had the same set. So it's like knowing how my skills are going to work against this guy. And now he's ready to get into that transition. How can I beat that man in front of me? I know scheme. I know what I've got to do. Now how can I apply that? He worked extremely hard this offseason to get himself ready. So we're kind of anxious to see where this goes over the next month because we have high hopes for him.
I can't wait to see it. I'm excited. You get me excited talking to you, Coach. I'm about ready. I want to play. I wish I could play today.
Yeah, so much.
Wait till Pat's.
So interesting that at the initial point of attack, the very first point of attack, you have two new options. You're moving Grady Jarrett on the defensive line to that nose, and you have a center in Alex Mack.
Yep.
I've never gone to a camp. Coach Quinn, I've never gone to a training camp going, I'm going to look at the center today. Alex Mack, is he a game changer for us?
We should look at that matchup, and it's one for the fans. And if the central theme of the program is competition, it starts right there for the guy who puts his hand on the ball. And that's the respect for Alex going against Grady or going against Babineau. How hard can we go against one another to make each other good? It happens outside between Julio and Trufant. It happens at tight end. Can Campbell cover Jacob Tammy? It happens who can match. Can Jones cover Freeman out of the backfield? Those are the matchups that happen. That's the competition at practice to say how good can you get? And that's my respect. I'm going to show you I'm giving it all I got, so you better bring it.
All right. I got to ask this. It's opening day camp. What are your expectations for this team this season? What is the only acceptable outcome for you?
Right now, I'm honestly just focused on camp and to say how can we have the best attacking team in ball. And for that's coming off the ball on offense. You know, owning the football offensively and defensively, putting the emphasis on special teams that we need to. Those are a couple of things I spoke to the team about last night, as opposed to putting everything out there for the season. Like, how good can we get right now? That's all we got is today. Like, how good can you get? And there's some specific things in your game you got to work on. There's some specific games in your things you got to work on. Let's communicate those things, and how good can we get at that? Let's leave the other stuff for later, and then let's focus on us right now, how good we can get.
Coach, real quick, can you start to see the competition between the offensive line and defensive line? Because that's where it starts. Can you see that? Can you see that coming?
And we're going to be a line of scrimmage team. And that's how you play really well when you're able to do that. And that competition, that's how we demonstrate that respect for one another. Like, you're going to have to bring it today. I'm here every single snap, and offensively and defensively.
Give me goosebumps, Coach.
Those groups, they battle against one another, and that's how we demonstrate that respect. Like, they're in a play where I back off.
Did you pick the playlist today on the iPod?
I did not.
Just had to ask.
Do you have any requests before I go back in?
We had Guns N' Roses last night.
Well,
there you go.
To be honest, Coach, most of the music I like to listen to on game day is probably got a lot of cuss words.
Yeah, maybe.
So you probably
it's not family friendly.
You don't want my playlist.
Yeah, there is two playlists for sure. There's one that's outside, and there's definitely one that's inside.
Hey, Coach Dan Quinn, thank you, Coach.
Yeah, it's good to have you guys here, man. Awesome set, and we're pumped to have the fans in here. So let's get them here. Let's get it rocking for practice, too.
All right. We look forward to it. Practice opens 10 o'clock for the Atlanta Falcons as they open their first practice of the Xfinity training camp as we continue live on our coverage of the Falcons training camp here on the home of the Falcons, Sports Radio 92.9 The Game.
We gotta love a day like this. I used to love the one-on-one. Your first days of one-on-one?
I guess we're not.
God.
They wasn't supposed to be down.
First days of one-on-one?
Want me to come back on? Yeah. You gotta keep on?
I guess we're still on there. You're good, Coach. I guess we're still on the air. I got so excited. I was about to leave with you, Coach.
We're trying them out. Come back when we're off, guys. Good to see you.
Appreciate it, Coach Quinn.
That was awesome.
That was awesome.
What would you rather be right now than that Falcons training camp? This is the start of football season, people. Can you feel it? I apologize to everybody out there listening. I'm so excited. I just get like this. That's why I try to be calm for the most part. But when it comes to football season, boy, the more juices get to flowing, and I feel like I can play until I start to try to move around. And I'm like, no, the knees and the shoulders in the back before I love, this game. There's no greater game than the game of football.